Well, it is Friday again, and I hope it's a happy, good one for you. You're certainly tuning into the right network right here on the Discussion Combustion Production YouTube channel, where we kick off your weekend right every single Friday. I am ready to have some fun. This is the kind of show where we just like to kick back, go over some fun things that happened throughout the week. There was a lot of political news. We're not going to get into that per se, but we're going to touch on them fun things. My name is Kevin Badstone, and I am joined, of course, by the Arthur, the amphibious Raw.
All right, I do love to swim. 10 minutes a day will change your life, baby. Happy Friday. I am so happy to be here. We do have a great show this week, and you know what we're going to get it started with.
Today in history, on this July 19th, what do we got, Art?
Well, in 1863, the HMS Beagle with Charles Darwin arrives at the Ascension Islands, and we all know the research that happened out there and what Darwin uncovered as far as the theory of evolution, which I do believe to be true. So that's pretty cool in 1863. Kind of staying somewhat nautical here, 1843, the steamship SS Great Britain is launched. It is the first ocean-going craft with an iron hull and screw propeller, and at the time was the largest vessel afloat in the world's oceans in 1843.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. So another cool one. So the first rocket. So this was 1957. The first rocket with nuclear warhead is fired, and this is at the Yucca Flat in Nevada. So of course, on that same day, U.S. performs nuclear test in Nevada test site. In 1957, that's the first time a nuke was attached to a rocket and successfully detonated. Pretty cool. We got a couple lunar things in this episode, maybe caves on the moon, but in 1969, the Apollo 11 goes into the moon orbit for the first time. And then moving all the way to 2023, look, this one was really interesting when I first read it. I did not know about this. 2023, on this day, scientists discover metals can self-heal after observing metals cracking and fusing back together, paving the future for self-healing structures and vehicles. So I don't know too much about that, but that's a really cool one, and that's today in history.
That is a pretty cool one. That's scary when you apply that to like the AI stuff. Then we start talking about the rise of the machines and these self-healing robots.
They make a Boston Dynamics makes a self-healing robot and puts the most sophisticated AI in it. We're fucked.
That is concerning for sure. That's when you got to start to worry about this AI stuff. All right, we're moving on. I'll tell you what I'm worried about is the national anthem, of course. It's Happy Friday, America. It's USA, baby. We love the national anthem, okay? And what happened Monday night at the MLB Home Run Derby was not very good. I was in the middle of doing Mash the Gas, but I had it on in the background, and I heard this national anthem. It wasn't good. And so we have singer.
It's viral at this point.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard this, then just go on any social media. You'll see it.
You'll see it. Or, you can just scroll down and click this link. It'll take you right to it. If you haven't heard it by now, this was Monday night, so a couple days have gone by. In any case, so music star Ingrid Andress, who is originally from, she's originally from Missouri, but she grew up just down the road from us in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and took the music scene, has been finding some success, and had a whole tour lined up. Gets this incredible honor to sing the national anthem at the Home Run Derby, which is a big deal, right? It's big for the Major League Baseball. It's just a big event. And she goes out there and just completely botches it. I mean, I will give her the fact that she knew every single lyric. She didn't miss those. I've seen it. Guys mess that part up. She knew the lyrics, but her pitch, her range, her tone, the delivery was just really, really bad. And so, next day she comes out on her Twitter X and says, I was really drunk last night. I fucked up. I'm going to rehab. I hear it's fun. And that's how she left off on her tweet about the whole thing. So
interesting.
I wonder how much of that is sincere or if it was her.
I don't think it's sincere.
I don't think it is either.
You're not going to say it's fun to go to rehab.
No, not at all. And I think this was a PR move. I think whether it was her manager, her agent, or whoever was surrounding her said, look, the only way you can save this is to basically plead insanity. Tell everyone you were completely fucked up on alcohol and say you're going to go get treatment for it. So I guess now the thing is she's supposed to be playing a show here in Denver, Colorado next week. We'll see if she makes it. If she's in rehab, I doubt it. But the fact remains this is either going to be a complete career killer for this gal or it's going to be an opportunity for her to restart, rebrand, start fresh.
I'm going to go with the latter there because when you quit, that's when the road ends. So as long as she keeps going, she keeps pushing. But then there's also that golden lesson there, like we were kind of talking about this before we hopped on. Maybe she was excited for this event. It was a big opportunity for her to sing the national anthem here. Maybe she got, she tried to kill her nerves by having a couple drinks and then started having fun, had a couple too many. It's so easy to have a couple too many when you're having a good time. Maybe that was the case, or maybe she does have a deeper lying issue with alcohol. Regardless, it's important for us all to hold ourselves accountable, and if we're not 100%, like sometimes it's best just to sit the bench, and that's too bad that she kind of exposed herself and jeopardized her career with this. But I believe in that she's going to have a bounce back. I believe in her bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I hope so for her sake, for her career and whatnot. But, yeah, you get an opportunity like that. You can't make mistakes like that. That's a mistake. To get that intoxicated, a 32-year-old woman who's, trying to build a career in music and entertainment probably should know better a little bit, than to do something like that. This is a big honor to go out there. This isn't just some local baseball game, under the lights in your hometown. This is the Home Run Derby. It's a huge honor to sing the Star Spangled Banner at that. So she fucked up. I can't really say she owned it. I'm going to blame her PR representative for that, but we'll see what happens going forward. Yeah,
I hope that she has let's get a bounce back going. I want to see the bounce back. And bouncing into the future, scientists have confirmed that there are caves on the moon that could be used for shelter for future lunar landings. So this one's kind of cool. Just came across this. So this site, which they found, is not far from where Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed 55 years ago.
Allegedly.
It's allegedly. I believe that they did that. I believe that they did it.
I'd like to, but I'm skeptical.
I don't believe much anymore, but I do believe the lunar landing.
I hope so.
Okay?
I would rather we did.
Because we're America. And so this cave that they found is at the bottom of a big crater, and it's called the Sea of Tranquility on the moon. It's about 250 miles from the Apollo 11's landing area. And basically what they would use this place for is a site where astronauts could go that is, safe from the conditions of the moon. They go into this cave. They could study the rocks and kind of see how the moon was formed by finding all the rocks and materials in there. Mm-hmm. They're saying that there's probably hundreds of these, obviously. And more than likely, these caverns were caused by the depletion of volcanic activity. At one point, there was some volcanic activity on the moon, is what they believe. And so those were like the volcanic tunnels that were created. But it's kind of funny to think, like, somebody's out here, they're like, all right, if we go to the moon, they're like looking for caves on the moon.
Yeah.
And they're confirming that there are caves that potentially we could use as shelter in the future. So kind of just an interesting topic. Nothing crazy out of here, but I wonder if we would see this in our lifetime. It's been 55 years since, we've quote unquote been to the moon. How come we haven't went again? And are we like cats when cats see a box but with caves? Do we see a cave? We got to go see it. Maybe that will get us back to the moon to get into this cave. Who knows?
Yeah, let's go explore this thing. I mean, of course we have all these rovers and these remote controlled apparatuses that we can send up there to do some of the exploration, which I'd rather do that than put boots on the ground up there on the moon. But it's kind of cool. I mean, there's just, the mathematical uncertainties of exploring the size of the moon. We were just talking about with your mega telescope, being able to barely see the surface. I mean, you see the craters and stuff, but there's so much up there that is yet unexplored that it's not shocking that we would have some caves and stuff. I want to know what's in those caves, though.
I bet you... Didn't they find dust? Didn't they find like a little bit of like bacterial life on the moon once?
They did. Yeah,
or that was the moon of Jupiter, Titan. I know that in the oceans of Titan, there's for sure like bacterial life,
which indicates
I don't know
life.
If it was on our moon though.
And I think Mars has showed similar,
like in the ice,
evidence of water obviously means life, so any sign of water is a good sign. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool anytime we can advance our aerospace and make these discoveries and get people thinking about things. It's kind of cool. I mean, if there's caves up there, a moon cave,
caves on the moon. We are deriving from cavemen and women. So, of course, we want to get into the cave. Who doesn't want to go check out a cave?
Caves are fun.
You see a cave on a hike? Do you not poke your head in that cave?
I mean, there might be rattlers in there.
But you poke in.
I usually give it a go. I'll yodel in it maybe.
There was one area where I was hiking through this like gully area, and there was kind of like a cave-ish area, but then like I felt like death there, and then I felt like a predatorial eyes were a gaze. and we had stumbled across a mountain lion den and proceeded to slowly leave that area.
Probably
But you got to go check out these caves, man. It's fun. That's living.
That is living. Caves usually, harbor life and shelter life. So, just mind your P's and Q's here on the Earth caves. We don't know what's in the moon caves.
The moon caves, the Luna caves, we don't know.
We don't know what's going on the Luna caves, but I'll tell you what's going on in my random records this week. Man unicycles the length of Ireland, okay, which Ireland's not a massive country, but the fact remains.
In one go?
In one go. Well, 5 days, 5 hours, 23 minutes, man unicycles the length of Ireland, okay? On a unicycle.
So he was like taking breaks. There's no way he went 5 days, 5 hours straight.
No, but what he did do is conquer 308 miles.
That's huge.
On a unicycle. I don't even know if I could do that on a bicycle.
Yeah.
He's doing it on one. So that's pretty impressive stuff. And, of course, he's an Irishman. This did get certified by the Guinness Book of World Records by riding it the length of Ireland, 308 miles, 5 days, 5 hours, 23 minutes. Pretty impressive stuff, to be able to have, you got to be pretty trained to do something like that. This isn't something you just hop out of bed and go ride your unicycle the length of the country.
No, unicycling is one of those things, because on the Cherry Creek Trail close to where I live, I do see a one, I think that's just one unicycler, one mad lad that's out there on the unicycle on this trail. And the funny thing about the unicycle is, like, it's kind of like an oxymoronic thing, because you can tell that the person is hella focused and serious about this. They're doing their unicycle. They look, they are serious, but it looks goofy.
Of course.
So it's like one of those things where they're being serious, but you can't take them seriously, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's the unicycle. It's an oxymoron of seriousness.
As the unicycle.
Mm-hmm.
It can be. I think it's because we've seen it so much in like clowns and like circus play, and unicycles and the riders have been made out to be like entertainers or performers. Mm-hmm. So we don't take it as serious as like a bicycle or going down the street.
It's entertaining to watch.
It is.
They're like on here like really trying to dial it in. It's not. Have you ever tried to ride a unicycle?
No, I've never tried.
Me neither. I don't want to.
You think you'd be good at it?
No, because I just tried rollerblading again recently and almost busted my ass multiple times. It's not as easy as it looks.
Rollerblading?
It's not as easy as it looks.
I mean, that's a little different than unicycling, but
it's probably easier than unicycling.
Probably.
And I had a hard time. So no, I'm going to say that I would not be good at unicycling.
I don't think I'd be very good at it either, but not something I'd probably attend. This man's wild, and this isn't the first time that this man is taken to the wild to try to do some record breaking. Back in 2016, he set the record of being barefoot. Okay, this was an outdoor journey. He climbed 10 mountains barefoot in 10 days. That's like some Cody Lundin stuff, but on another level.
Swollen ankles. It was like torture, he's saying, as long as you're moving. Oh, man.
Yeah, pretty rough deal there. So this man is hungry to be outdoors, breaking records, doing some adventuring. I don't know if we'll quite see David Rush numbers on this, but these are pretty intense records to break.
That is. I'm going to have to say that this Irish man is a mad lad that is a serious unicycler.
It's an SLR this week with a solid lad record.
Yes, absolutely. Moving on to the would you rather question. Last week we had a good one. I honestly don't know where America's going to go with this. So last week we asked would you rather give up bacon for the rest of your life or give up watching movies? I gave up bacon. Kevin gave up watching movies. What did they say on X?
Well, so as you know, I'm a little surprised by these results.
Okay.
On Twitter X, our polls go up every Friday morning from the Would You Rather, of course, over there at Happy Fry USA. Taking a live look here as the polling continues. 83% of America is giving up bacon.
Really?
Yeah, only 17% are giving up the movies. Surprising result on that, America. I really thought it was going to be at least a little bit more 50-50.
I thought, with a lot of the people I've spoken with, person to person, they said they're keeping bacon.
I mean, I'm keeping bacon.
So I was surprised about that. But y'all are with me.
83%.
Let's keep enjoying our movies. Rewatching Avatar, and I'm about to rewatch the second one.
The Way of the Water?
Weekend. Yeah, I'm going to rewatch that.
I saw that's available. I'm going to watch it too.
Yeah, that's a good one. So this week's Would You Rather, and thanks everybody for participating on the last one. Would you rather never be hungry again? So you're sustained, like you're healthy, you're not starving, like you're not deprived, but you're just never hungry again.
Okay.
Or would you rather never be tired again?
See, if you're not tired, if you're not hungry, does that mean you don't eat? And if you're not tired, does that mean you don't sleep?
Well, no, because you still need both those things to live.
They are essential.
I mean, unless if we want to make up non-reality rules for this? Would you rather? Like,
no, I think we'll keep it at face value. I like it.
Like you're still sleeping, but you just never
You're not
wake up tired. Yeah.
I'm going to take not being tired, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a lot more energy since giving up alcohol, but there's still times where maybe we don't get enough rest, or we had a long physical day, which causes fatigue and tiredness. I don't think I want to be tired.
Yeah.
Like hunger, something you can have fun with, right? Because we got to eat no matter what. I know we got to sleep, but if I'm hungry, I can have fun with food. It gets me a little bit more creative. Not that I enjoy being hungry. I don't think anybody likes hunger pangs. They're not fun.
But I mean, if you're losing weight, like that feels like success.
I guess it does. Yeah, that's true.
It feels like success to be hungry.
But like when you're, ravished and depleted of nutrients, it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Like when hunger turns into like I'm starving almost kind of thing, which I've been fortunate to not experience too many times. I'm gonna say I would rather not be tired. That's what I'm gonna take.
Okay. We're on the same page this week. We're normally
That's rare.
We're normally not on the same page.
We usually don't pick the same
I would
answer.
rather never be tired again. So how I'm seeing this is like every single morning that I wake up after 6 hours of sleep, I'm like, oh yeah, feeling awake, don't even need or think about coffee. And like I'm just with it, no nap needed. After I eat my lunch, sometimes I get a little lethargic after lunch. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yep.
What if I have an energy drink? There's no crash after that. So you're just good to go all day until you want to go to sleep, and then you can just fall asleep. Easy peasy. I'm going with that one because I don't mind being a little hungry. Especially coming on my weight loss journey, like that feels like success to me to be a little bit hungry. Like I like that feeling.
I do too. I think we're going to go unanimous on this and never be tired again. Curious to see where America's going to go on this one. With the whole bacon thing, they're 86 in the bacon.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll 86 sleep as well and not feel tired with us.
I don't know. We'll find out. Let us know on our X page, and definitely appreciate everyone's participation there. That's the Would You Rather.
That's a fun one. That is a fun one. All right, we're keeping it moving. We're talking about bees. I found a pretty fun article here. I'd encourage the viewers to go down and check it out. It's kind of a long read, but the video on this thing is fantastic. Watching these different type of bees, and I know, Art, you're pretty well versed in bees. Your mom was a bee conservation.
She was a beekeeper
for
a little bit,
and bee advocate, and she knows a lot about the bees.
Yes.
If they're furry, no need to worry. If they're shiny, mind their hiney.
Watch their hiney. Mind their hiney. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it truly is tremendous. And bees are just amazing. They're all around incredible creatures. Obviously, we know that we need them for pollination and honey and sustaining life and all that stuff. So, how do these honeybees defend from the ants and other creepy crawlers that can get into their hives? Well, apparently, the Asian honeybee, specifically here, Asian, it has shown signs of being a little bit more advanced than, say, the European honeybee.
All right.
They are flapping their wings at a high rate of speed and these ants, you'll see them if you watch this video. These ants and the colonies are trying to sneak into this hive, and they're just sitting there flapping them, and you just see the ants flying away like a fan blowing them off.
Okay.
Like they have somehow figured out, these Asian honeybees, that's the best way to guard the honey. Against ants. Because, of course, ants want the honey. They want the good stuff.
Of course they do.
It's just like we do. And they're just whapping them with their wings.
That sounds
like ants are flying off.
That sounds like a fun one to watch. I know that also like bees will vibrate wasps to death. Like they create like a heat, like they'll surround wasps and like all vibrate.
Wow.
And like create this heat that it kills the wasp from heat exhaustion. Because they'll come in there like 4 times the size of a bee, so they have to overwhelm them. Bees are really, really smart. I could go off on a lot of information on bees. The fun fact that I'll tell you now that's beyond them whapping ants with their wings is that every bee that you have seen is more than likely a female. Male bees are called drones. They only leave the hive once to go mate with a new potential queen. All foraging bees that pollinate, all those bees, they're all female. So that's an interesting bee fact. Whenever you see bees around, call them girls, see how she's doing, because they are all female.
That's an interesting factoid that I was not aware of. Yeah, really cool read. I mean, it says about 1 out of the 10 wing slaps are successful. And so, they're up there putting up some defense and some offense, kind of like a tennis player is what it was compared to, going in there and setting up that wing slap.
I got to see this one. I got to watch this one.
But it says, so the European bees don't have as much practice, I guess you could say, or experience. And the reason is because this area, in Japan and some of these areas where these Asian bees have been studied, have an insect problem. So there's a lot of ants. They're constantly being infiltrated with predators from the insect community, much more than we would see with the European or the American honeybee. So apparently these Asian honeybees they ain't to be fucked with.
No, they totally ain't. And honestly, there are so many areas where humans have innovated, created technology, and honestly, we're just trying to mimic what this Earth has already created, like dragonflies, helicopters, stuff like that. I mean, there's all these different things. We can learn from the bees. How can I flap my wings to the ants trying to intrude my life, is what I wonder, theoretically thinking.
The bees.
The bees.
Be wild, be strong, and be good to yourselves.
And be the bee's knees.
Be the bee's knees.
And a cool cat. Smooth. Smooth. What else is maybe not that smooth on the palate is artificial meat.
I don't like it.
And this is a subject that obviously is somewhat newer, like within the last 10 years, this impossible meat, this fake meat. And the UK is the first European country to approve lab-grown meat, starting with pet food. So basically, the UK, United Kingdom, they're approving artificially grown meat, lab-grown meat, to be sold, mixed in with vegetables and other things, of course, and animal food. And how they do this, well, a couple things with the fake meat. So they say that the food industry and all of the cattle across the world, that is one of the biggest climate impacts, and it's similar to the impact of the Philippines, which is the 13th most populous country in the world. So they're saying that all of like the cattle and all this stuff creates enough climate and ozone stuff to like be equivalent to the 13th most populous country in the world. I'm happy I was able to get that out. So that's all studies that were done. And how they do this with this specific, it's like a chicken type of meat that they're making. They take a small sample of a chicken egg and they cultivate it with vitamins and amino acids in a lab, and then grow cells in a container similar to those, which is similar to, well, it's kind of similar to how beer is fermented. So they're doing this with meat. It is said that it's not the most delicious. It's not the most delicious meat. They're going to mix it in with the animals first. So the UK is the first country in Europe that's done this. This type of meat has, in the United States, it's been banned in Florida and Alabama. So it's been banned in a couple states in the United States.
That is pretty surprising.
But a couple countries that are on board for human consumption are Singapore and Israel. Are two that are down to have this lab-grown meat.
Yeah.
Good for human consumption. And one of the things that they do say here is that the government must invest in the research and infrastructure needed to make it delicious. So that's kind of interesting. Affordable and accessible for people across the UK. So, you know, we have the vegan argument side. We have the cattle farmer argument side. You know, where everyone wants to fight for animal rights, but then also fight for the business to produce. And then, like, how good is this meat for us? Does it really impact the climate? There's a lot of questions and things that go into this. We're not here to tell you any answers on that. We're just bringing up the subject. And the UK's, the pets are now going to be eating this this type of meat if those pet owners want it. And there's also like the controversies. Oh, I'm feeding my animals, and it's like I don't understand that controversy. Like, it's an animal, it eats animals. This is what happens in the wild. So now you're gonna feed your animal fake meat.
They're
like,
carnivores.
I don't know. It's kind of it's one of those subjects where we could easily go off on this.
Yeah, I mean, is there a market for it? Yes. Obviously, when you have places like Florida and Alabama banning it, we see the kind of garbage that goes on in this country when it comes to what we consider edible food. Mm-hmm. In some places, our food here is not considered edible. So that I find interesting. And there's probably more to it on the back end than we realize. There's probably a monopoly on branding, on, you know, all this stuff. Because, you know, we've already seen with some of the meatless alternatives that there's controversy there with some of the ingredients that are being used may come in contact with
more
whatever.
Sodium, and like it's probably worse for your heart than normal meat is. Like it's just like one of those things where it hasn't been around long enough. Like, how do we know how it affects us? Just like vaping and all this other stuff. Like, how does that really affect us compared to smoking?
Right. Exactly. There's not enough enough research on it, and we haven't seen it in the market long enough. Will dogs and cats eat it? Most likely. You know, you put some flavorful gravy on it, they're going to eat it.
They're not going to know the difference.
I mean, it's, you know, dogs, they'll eat slop.
Maybe we wouldn't know the difference either if like it was just mixed into like a jambalaya or something. Like how would we know?
And who knows? I mean, after all these years, I'm sure you and I and you watching at home America have eaten some shit that we didn't realize what it was. We were told it was one thing. It was probably, you know, horse or something else. So, I mean, but on a, you know, global marketing scale here, I'm not behind it. I'm not saying it should be banned or anything. Like, absolutely make it an option to the market. It's not something I would ever purchase, not something I'm interested in. I'd rather eat real meat than lab-grown meat. The idea of that just doesn't sit well with me.
But it is going to sit really well with NASA once they start inhabiting these lunar caves. They're going to be doing lab-grown meat in the lunar caves for sustainability.
That's true. Or they might take a food bucket with them to space. That's right.
Okay.
They just might, because there's good rations in here. So Costco is selling apocalypse-ready food buckets. Kind of, you know, people get all like, oh, you know, tinfoil hat when they hear apocalypse and things like that. But look, I've been stocking up with ammo, food rations, and stuff like this for many years. I could do better. I mean, I have a couple totes, probably get me maybe 6 months if I was careful. I like it. I think it's a smart idea. It doesn't have to be apocalyptic either. This could be, let's say there's a major food or power shortage in coming months, years, whatever, which is very possible if we take a look at what's going on right now around the world. I mean, people want to sit in a bubble, but it's actually quite smart what Costco is doing here. Selling these emergency food rations is a great idea. So basically, they have a bucket. It has a shelf life of 25 years, which is the same as the military rations that I have. Okay. And you know, they're yielding anywhere from 150 servings. If you get the mega size bucket, it goes up even more to 380 servings. But the basic beginner bucket is $80. Okay, you're getting 150 rations of food out of that for $80. Think about that. I mean,
that's not bad.
Is it going to be the most flavorful? No, but it's going to have protein packed.
Taste like lab meat?
It might taste like lab meat. You know,
we're looking for. It's not delicious.
It's just, you know, probably freeze dried beans, rice, you know, shit like that. It's easy stuff that you can make. Oatmeal, like that's what a lot of my military rations are. So Costco's selling them. Might not be a bad purchase to look at, Art. You know, throw a bucket or two of these. Yeah. You know, plenty of calories. $80. You know, some people are trying to get it shipped to them. It takes about 10 to 15 business days if you want it shipped. So if the apocalypse starts, it might not get there in time. So you're probably going to want to go get it in person.
Are they out in the stores then, or like do they have inventory?
Costco locations, I mean, it's hard to say. Some might have it, some might not. But, you know, because when you look at these massive brick and mortar locations, you know, this Target might have this and that Costco might have that. So it's hard to say if every single one is going to have it. So probably take a look. But then they have a pallet that you can buy for $2,500, and that's 5,400 servings for $2,500. Still not a terrible investment. Yeah. If you had an extra $2,500 laying around and a place to put a pallet of rations in your shop or your garage, I would 100% take advantage of this.
I mean, you could have a bucket in your closet. You get a bucket in the studio, a bucket in the truck, you know, a bucket in the trunk.
You could even chuck it in the fuck it bucket.
You could. I mean, buckets everywhere. And look, you can still eat this stuff. It's not like
25 years.
It's not like you're being paranoid. Like even if you just wanted to get a mega fucking deal on some food for a while, like let's say you're just hurting for cash, you get one of these buckets. You're eating 150 meals for like $80. You know, and then maybe you feel a little bit hungry and you're losing weight and doing things while you're eating your ration meals. Like, there's more than one way to use this, and everyone wants to say that you're being paranoid and shit until shit hits the fan. Like, you know how many non-gun owners have been like, oh, if shit ever hits the fan, like, I'm going to come to you because you got a gun. It's all like, oh, yeah. You want to make fun of it until you need it, and then once you need it, it's like, oh, well, I guess I was better off being prepared than just being completely ignorant.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a great idea.
It's brilliant.
I'll probably go cop a couple of these.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I really do. You could take them camping. Kids could have fun with it. There's just so many things you can do. It doesn't have to be apocalyptic ready, but you know, again, people hear that word and they think aliens or they think Walking Dead and they think all these things.
I mean, look at Houston, man. The fucking power went out there for a while due to the hurricane. If they had some of these rations, like people would be all right with that.
Correct.
So it's very practical. This is something I could get behind.
I like it. I absolutely like it. I think the price is right. I think, you know, the servings, all that, the calories that it yields, it's a great deal. So free sales pitch for Costco. Go get your apocalyptic buckets and get them done.
I like it. Well, what we got going on this weekend, if you're in Brooklyn, Michigan, all weekend long, we have the Fast Horses Festival. All I know is that those horseshoes are going to be kicking up dust out there, and what a great time.
Yeah, the Fast Horses Festival, a lot of fun. You get the best of the best horse racing. Their Jelly Roll's going to be performing. It's just a whole event. It's a big weekend up there. Blink-182, they're back out on tour. I think they're coming to Denver at some point if they haven't already.
Say my name again.
Yeah.
Say my name again.
They are in New York City on Sunday. Go see Blink-182 if you're an old school.
Or is it What's My Name Again?
I don't know.
I think it's What's My Name Again.
What's My Name Again?
Yeah, it's like part of one of their songs. But yeah, Blink-182,
They're great.
man.
No, they're great.
That tickles the nostalgia bone heavy. I would definitely go check them out. What else we got going? We got No FX, Denver Stockyards Saturday. What is this, Kev?
Yep. So up at the Stockyards, No Effects. They're like one of the OG punk bands, I guess.
Okay.
This is more of our former co-host John Ekstrom's area of expertise, but I've heard of No Effects. I hear they've been in the music scene a long time. They're here at the Stockyards, putting some use to the old Stockyards tomorrow.
Be fun.
So if you want to get your punk on, I'm sure you could probably bump into John Ekstrom. He'll probably be there.
Man, I love rocking out to some punk music. Look, if you've never been to a punk show, I will say this. There might be like this stigma that, the punk crowd might be a little rough, but it's actually some of the nicest concert attendees I've ever met are at metal shows and punk shows. These people are really awesome. They're just there to let it all out, and what a great way with some good old punk music.
Absolutely. That should be a lot of fun. And another thing that's really fun is out in Indianapolis, Indiana. The Brickyard 400, it returns to the Brickyard. I love it. We've raced Indianapolis in NASCAR the past few years, but we've done the road course. Now we're going back on the iconic oval. Call it an oval. It's really a rectangle. It's where the Indianapolis 500 is run. Just an iconic racetrack. The place holds 350,000. I doubt we'll see a sellout this weekend because that's a lot of fucking people. But I think we're going to see a good crowd. I'm excited for NASCAR to be back at the Brickyard, and that is going on Sunday, Art.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Epic racetrack, and definitely check out Mash the Gas podcast, syndicated NASCAR podcast hosted by Kevin Batstone and Jeff Davis. That's an awesome show. You're getting a lot of momentum there.
Yes.
So definitely check out Happy Friday on all the socials. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Happy Friday USA, on X, where you do the polls, Happy Fry USA. Send us an email, happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. Let's give it up for the weekend.